Hello, welcome along with me, Francis Abetisan Lampard. It's another lovely edition of the Game Zone with me, Francis. We take a holistic look at all the fixtures and give you expert analysis on games that you expect in the coming weekend. And of course, we've got match week 21 of the English Premier League for you. And at the tail end of the show, I've got the Italian Serie A fixtures. So let's look at the fixtures for this weekend. Watford will be up against Swansea City at Vicarage Road, and of course, what else do you expect from this particular feature? Watford, they are not on the buzz of the form and they are not doing so well this season. In Swansea City, very shambolic this season. They are very bad this season. They aren't doing anything good this season. And Swansea City, I will always point out the reason why they are suffering this particular season, because they have sold Jeffrey Zigosen and went in for a young and inexperienced Tammy Abraham. You have sold your top class player, the one who was on top of his game last season. In fact, all the points they've won last season, it was Jeffrey Zigosen who contributed. They are very porous because they didn't find the possible replacement for Jeffrey Zigosen. You sold a player in the shape of Jeffrey Zigosen and you went in for Tammy Abraham. Lack of top class football experience. He hasn't got that credibility. He hasn't got that instinct, that top class football instinct. But I think this season they need to go back to the January transfer window and get their ass in the market and get some quality players to beef up the squad, because they didn't do the right thing. They sold some of them into this particular time off the back of a very serious game, and Watford today are very poor this season. And these guys, Watford and Swansea City, they are like birds of a feather. Or as far as score prediction, to go with a 2-1 scoreline for Watford, because they are playing at their own backyard, the Vicarage Road. Let's continue now with Liverpool versus at Anfield, and Liverpool coming into this particular fixture off the back of a 5-0 victory against a certain Swansea City. That tells you how good Liverpool are this season, and they've got the players, and the players are doing so well this season. The likes of Mo Salah or Mohamed Salah, Mane, Philip Coutinho, all the guys, they are on top of their games and they are showing the reason where they ought to play football for Liverpool. And in fact, Jurgen Klopp is always there to encourage his players, and the players are doing so well. And the only problem for this season, they don't have enough defensive cover. They lack defensive cover. They are very poor at the back. They aren't just doing well at the back. A certain Liverpool will be leading by 3-0 or 4-0, and they are organized all the goals. That tells you how bad Liverpool are defensively. And going into this particular against against Leicester City. Leicester City this season, they haven't done so well, but now I think they are beginning to get a result. They are beginning to fight with top clubs in the Premier League, the likes of Manchester United. Recently they drew 2-2 with Manchester United, and just last weekend they are coming into this particular off the back of a loss. But as far as score prediction for this very one is concerned, I will go with a 4-1 victory for Liverpool over. Let's now continue with Newcastle United versus Brighton at St. James Park. And Newcastle United this season, they are very shambolic. They aren't doing the right thing. I can't really fathom the reason, but I will always place this particular problem right at the doorstep of the owner, Mike Ashley. He needs to do the right thing. You are working with a manager in the shape of Rafael Benitez, who understands his game. He knows in and out of football. We know the pedigree of Rafael Benitez, the time he was with Liverpool, and he has done so well. And working with Rafael Benitez, you need to give him money to sign quality players to beef up the squad. And the owner, Mike Ashley, doesn't have the financial muscle. He doesn't have the money to splash. But this particular one, if they want to get back to the top half of the Premier League table, then January transfer window, they have to go back to the market and do the right thing. And going into this particular tie against Brighton, they haven't done so well this season and they are not doing so well, but playing at St. James Park, Newcastle United last weekend, they were very serious with a game against the league leaders Manchester City. It ended 1-0 in favor of Manchester City last weekend. That tells you how good Newcastle United were against Manchester City, because Manchester City have created thousands of chances but they couldn't just score. And that particular goal, that one goal they have scored, it just came from the boot of Raheem Sterling. And this one, let's come to the feature proper, Newcastle United versus Brighton. But as far as top position for this very one is concerned, it's St. James's Park and of course it's Newcastle United. I will go with my 2-1 victory for Newcastle United, with Huddersfield Town versus Burnley. And a certain Burnley, they are the surprise of the season. They have done so well under Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche will just tell his boys, hey, you guys go out there and grant victory. If you can't pick the maximum 3 points, always make sure that you pick a point, especially away games. And now they are playing against one of the struggling sides in the Premier League, Huddersfield Town, who they haven't done so well this season. And going into this particular tie against Burnley, what else? I think it is going to be one of those things. It is going to be Burnley, though they are playing away. But Huddersfield Town this season, they haven't done enough to in fact merit victory against Burnley. So as far as score prediction for this very one is concerned, I will go with my 3-1 scoreline for Burnley over Newcastle United. Now let's continue with last season champions Chelsea will be up against Stoke City at Stamford Bridge. And you know the Stamford Bridge, it's always a fortress ground for most of the clubs in the Premier League. And I am not emotional here, I am speaking from the perspective of an analyst. And I think this season Chelsea, they haven't done so well as defending champions, but I think the guys are on top of their games. The likes of Alvaro Morata and Eden Hazard both have created a great partnership up front and they are doing so well for the Blues. And Chelsea coming into this star off the back of a 2-0 victory. And what else? I think it is going to be Chelsea. Stoke City, they haven't done so well this season. They are very porous. They just can't grant victory, especially away, and they are coming to the Stamford Bridge where the noise, the fans, the Blues fans will always be there. They will boo, they will shout, they will give all the morale to Chelsea. And I think as far as score prediction for this very one is concerned, I will still give that particular scoreline in favor of Antonio Conte and his charges. As far as score prediction for this one is concerned, I will go with a 3-1 victory for Chelsea over Stoke City. Let's continue with AFC Bournemouth versus Everton at Vitality Ground. And of course, Vitality Ground, it's always a fortress, but not against Everton. And in fact, Everton, since the Big Sam Allardyce took over as manager, they are yet to test a defeat. That tells you how good they are so far. That tells you how clinical they are so far. When Rooney is now beginning to understand the tactics and the philosophy the man is adopting, the Big Sam Allardyce is adopting. So I think without a shadow of a doubt, I think it is going to be Everton, because they have done so well this time around and they are now beginning to grant victory both home and away. And they are always there to fight against clubs like AFC Bournemouth. And AFC Bournemouth, they are just bad this season. They haven't done enough. And as far as score position for this very one is concerned, I will go with a 2-1 victory for the Big Sam Allardyce and his Everton. Let's crack on. Man United will be up against Southampton at Old Trafford, and Jose Mourinho and his Manchester United this time round, they need to pick the maximum 3 points. You can't just play home, drew with Leicester City, drew with Burnley, and you are now playing Southampton. And of course, Manchester United picking just 2 points from their previous 6 points or their previous 2 matches. That is quite atrocious. That is quite terrible on the part of a club or like Manchester United, who wants to close the gap between Manchester City, the league leaders. Now Manchester City, they are flying high, and Manchester United wants to close the gap. Jose Mourinho and his guys want to close the gap. They need to get their ass down on the job and start picking points home and away, because it is very, very important. And Manchester City, they are flying high, and the manager Pep Guardiola and the tiki-taka is really working. All the guys are doing so well for Manchester City. And let's come to the feature: Manchester United versus Southampton. What else? It is going to be Jose, because last weekend they were down by 2-0, and they came strongly with an equalizer. That tells you how good they are this season. Though they haven't done so well in their previous 2 features, but Manchester United going into this particular one against Southampton, and of course Jesse Lingard is now on top of his game. And one thing I've realized about Romelu Lukaku, at the initial stage of the season he was doing well, but now his performance is very, very, very awful. Romelu Lukaku needs to up his game, and Paul Pogba needs to be a bit creative up front. And going into this particular feature, Manchester United 2-2 in a row, they drew 2-2 in a bounce, and this one, it is not going to be easy, because all the smaller clubs, the so-called smaller clubs, will always want to fight Jose Mourinho and his team. But this one, it is going to be Jose Mourinho and his Manchester United. Or as far as score prediction for this very one is concerned, I will go with a 2-1 victory for Jose Mourinho and his Manchester United. Let's continue with Crystal Palace versus the league leaders Manchester City at Selhurst Park. And of course, the Selhurst Park is always a fortress for some of the clubs in the Premier League. Palace will always want to prove points. Crystal Palace will always want to test their strength against the top 6 clubs in the Premier League, the likes of Manchester City, Chelsea, Tottenham Hotspur, Liverpool and co. But this particular one, it is going to be at the Selhurst Park, and what else? Crystal Palace will fight Pep Guardiola and his team, because last weekend Pep Guardiola and his Manchester City team were very, very, very bad, because they have created dozens of chances. They have created a lot of chances, but they couldn't utilize. Even that one goal they scored, it came from the boot of Raheem Sterling. They have created a lot of chances against Newcastle. I don't know, Newcastle were just good on the day, or Manchester City were very poor on the day. But going into this particular third against Crystal Palace, who are now beginning to gather enough confidence, who are now beginning to grant victory both home and away, who are now beginning to understand the quality of football at Selhurst Park. Manchester City versus Crystal Palace. As far as score prediction for this very one is concerned, I will go with a 3-1 victory for Pep Guardiola and his Manchester City. Now let's continue with our final game of the week. It will be West Bromwich Albion versus Arsenal at the Hall-Tom. And you know the Hall-Tom, it's a fortress for a club like Arsenal, because this is they are very, very, very poor. They can't just grant victory. I don't know what is wrong with Arsenal. They need to up their game if really they want to play Champions League again, if they want to qualify for Champions League football. Then Arsene Wenger and his charges need to up their game. We need to throw more men forward. In fact, last season the likes of Sanchez, Giroud were very, very good, but this season they aren't just good. They are not doing the right thing. That tells you how poor Arsenal are this season. And going into this particular time against West Bromwich Albion, What else? I think it is going to be Arsenal, but they really have to fight hard. They really have to fight, because West Bromwich Albion, though they are not doing so well this season, but they will always test their strength against a club like Arsenal. They have to fight hard, get their ass down on the job, and do the right thing. As a victor, right thing, do the right thing. Make sure that you get victory, because this time round you need 3 points both home and away if you want to play Champions League football. And West Bromwich Albion versus Arsenal, as far as score prediction for this very one is concerned, and of course it's the whole thing, I won't give too much. It is going to be 2-1 in favor of Arsenal. Now let's continue with the Italian Serie A feature for this week. The Italian Serie A features for this weekend, and we've got Fiorentina versus AC Milan at the Stadio de Ateneo French. Torino will be up against Napoli at the Stadio de Olimpico, and also Sampdoria will be up against Spa at the Comunale Lingua Ferraris. Verona versus Udinese. Roma versus Sassuolo at the Stadio Olimpico. Benevento will be up against Chievo Verona. Atalanta versus Cagliari, and Inter Milan will be up against Lazio at the Giuseppe Meazza. The Hellas Verona will host the old ladies of Italian football. This sports we've got for you this weekend as far as the Premier League is concerned. My name is Francis Alexander Lampard.